See, it's the gaslighting that I can't deal with. And the double standard. They're always complaining about, oh, unfair double standards for Israel, while they're constantly creating double standards in their own favor. When I show you this clip, I want you to listen for the conflation that they constantly do. And they'll also do this thing, and he does it here, where they go, it's fine to criticize policy, but, and then when you criticize policy, they turn around and go, anti-Semitic trope.
No one should have to die for a foreign country. Our government's job is not to look out for Iran or for Israel. It's to look out for us. And this feels very much, to me, like it is clearly Israel's war.
Why don't one of you mouthpieces actually articulate what the benefit to the American people is in fighting this war? What is it? Oh, they're going to have nuclear weapons. That's fake. We know they don't. What else? Oh, Israel's our ally. Are they? We are less than 2 weeks into this war, and it has already cost the American taxpayer billions of dollars. Show me the benefit to us.
From you here, help me understand the nuance of your reaction.
Well, first of all, there's no nuance in her anti-Semitism right there and her blame the Jews for the decision of the United States to launch a war against Iran that is based upon decades of policy. I just find it grotesque that...
First conflation. Oh, blaming the Jews for going to war. Did she say Jews? No, she said the state of Israel. So with that little game that you're playing, you're saying that you cannot criticize the nation state of Israel without you bozos coming out and say that they're blaming the Jews. And who the fuck is this lady? Doesn't she seem like she's been coached? Over to you, Israeli propagandist. Tell me about the nuance in your feelings.
I just find it grotesque that we have commentators essentially using anti-Semitic tropes in order to attack the American policy. Focus on the policy, criticize it, complain about where it's heading, but blaming foreign governments and saying that you're being manipulated by Jews, manipulated by Israel, is really going to the darkest, deepest corners of hate that we're experiencing.
I think you're not the only one hearing this. Here's Ted Cruz. I just want to play another cut.
First of all, ma'am, nobody needs to hear from Ted Cruz. Second of all, I love how CNN is already comically over-the-top Zionist slop garbage, and Barry and Larry haven't even taken it over officially yet. Megyn Kelly is trash. Let's get that out of the way. She is absolute racist, Islamophobic garbage, okay? But what she said there was not anti-Semitic. Israel are the ones saying that this is a war that they've wanted for decades. Netanyahu himself came out after the strikes and said, this is a dream being realized for 40 years. There are people in Israel right now dancing and celebrating, saying that this is a culmination of a decades-long struggle. They'll in one breath admit that they're doing this for Israel, like Lindsey Graham going all over Fox News this weekend saying, I stand with Israel to my dying day. We should be with Israel and for Israel. And I've got to go to South Carolina to convince my constituents to go fight in the Middle East for them. They're our ally and they share intelligence with us, so we should be fighting for them. They'll say that themselves. And then when people respond with, well, I don't want to go fight for Israel, they go, get a load of this anti-Semite. They themselves are saying it. And then this guy comes in to be like, there's no nuance in her anti-Semitism. And then he does the conflation. If you're gonna blame the Jews or blame Israel, see how he conflated that? They're the ones who conflate all Jews with the state of Israel. Who said all Jews? That was you, boo. You were the one who said that. So they lie when they say it's fine to criticize Israeli policy, just don't be anti-Semitic about it. No, they're full of shit. It's not fine to criticize Israeli policy because anytime you actually criticize Israeli policy, they call you an anti-Semite and say that you're invoking 1,000-year-old tropes. Tell me, sir, how can we criticize Israel without you crying about it? I need you to pick a struggle because 1 minute you're a victim, everything is victim. It's not your fault. It's the big bad US's fault that made you do what you were doing in the scary Arabs. And then the next minute you're bragging about how you're smarter than everybody else, you're more successful than everybody else, you're lions, and nobody can go against the Israeli regime because you're so perfect and you're better than everyone, you're God's chosen people and everything else. It's like, pick a lane. If you don't want people saying that this war is on behalf of the Israeli regime, then why don't you tell our government officials and the officials in Israel to stop saying it? Why don't you tell the former prime minister of the Israeli regime to stop bragging about how this is a great opportunity to take out long-standing enemies of Israel and maybe we should go to Turkey next? Maybe tell Marco Rubio to stop saying things like, hey, the reason why we did this is because Israel told us they were going to strike anyway, so we decided to do it first. See, the problem is here is that we're not saying that the U.S. didn't start this war. We know we did. We know that Trump is a disaster and a fucking warmonger and a criminal and part of the Epstein class. And one of the reasons why he did this is because he's trying to distract from the Epstein files. And another reason why he did it is because he's also a corrupt piece of shit who never won't do anything for a couple bucks. And he also worked for Miriam Adelson, who gave him hundreds hundreds of millions of dollars to do exactly this. But to pretend that Israel is a victim and that they just never do anything, it's always just the big bad West, and to suggest that they have an active role in this and that they are a part of this. This is not just the US, this is also Israel, and to say that is anti-Semitic, you're lying. You're lying. And what gets me is that our media here will cover for them in a way that they don't even cover for the US. And I don't want them covering for the US. I want the fucking truth. But it is strange that they do that for Israel. Like, I saw very good and detailed reporting in the New York War Crimes about how it was the US, it was us, that struck that girls' school in Iran, and how they were breaking down how Trump lied and how our government lied and said, no, it wasn't us. And they were doing all kind of breakdown being like, this is why they're lying. They never do that when it comes to Israel. Our own media will come out with good reporting on our own war criminals, but then they won't for Israel, and they'll protect them when they lie. What the fuck? And actually, no, we haven't just had a decades-long interest in going to war with Iran. That's why under the Obama administration, they negotiated a fucking deal. A deal that was successful and was working until Trump came in at the behest of the Adelsons and ripped it up. But we wouldn't want to talk about the hundreds of millions of dollars that the Adelsons gave Trump and the Israeli lobby gave Trump in order to rip up the Iran deal, because that would be invoking Trump. And no one's trying to absolve the U.S. Even I've seen right-wingers say the U.S. is the biggest terrorist on the fucking planet. We know we're the ones that started this. But what I'm not gonna have is you guys trying to be a fucking victim and pretend like Israel has nothing to do with this, because somehow they always have to be the victim. Shut up.